All right, guys, welcome back to the Bullets, Barbells, and Barbecue podcast. We are on episode 6. We have the handsomest man in the UFC on here. We have Drew Dober. How are you?
Good. Episode 6, and you finally invite me? It's a little disrespectful.
How many have you listened to?
All of them.
All of them.
So May 6th, tell us what you got going on.
May 6th, I'm fighting a ginger from Long Island named Matt Frivola. UFC 288, Newark, New Jersey. Just found out that I am the main event on the prelims.
Sweet.
Ooh.
So I get to kick off the fight card, but right before the pay-per-view starts.
Do you pick your music when you walk out?
Do I pick my walkout?
Yeah, your music.
Oh, yeah, all the time. Yeah.
What is it this time?
It's always the same, right? This
I
is
mean-
how we do it?
Yeah, I walk out to This Is How We Do It by Montel Jordan.
That's great.
Fuck yeah.
That's violent.
Yeah.
Do you feel like because he's a ginger, it'll be hard because they're soulless?
Yeah.
I mean, you're
When he
one.
loses consciousness, no soul's going to leave the body. That's a little bit disappointing, but
Yeah, I mean, this is just coming from one ginger to another.
You can skip the prayer then.
Yeah. And this is your...
yeah.
How many years have you been in the UFC now? Is this 9, 8?
10 years.
10.
Been fighting
shit.
with the company for a decade now.
I remember when you called me. I was at a shitty family Christmas party, and you called me, and you said, hey, man, I just got the call. It's happening.
Yeah. I was neck deep in a country fried steak in a diner. So I got that call. I had to
Sounds so
throw
good.
my fork down and find a treadmill.
And when's the last time you had a country fried steak as a professional UFC fighter?
I mean, anytime in Omaha, I hit up that Shirley's Diner.
Oh,
So,
yeah, that's a good place. I've been there.
It's definitely like a post-fight thing. It's like one of my what I look forward to after fights, which is Omaha, Barbell, and Shirley's Diner. Like
That's awesome.
go-tos.
I've only been to the Shirley's Diner one time, and I was not, like, super impressed.
I liked it.
But I've heard the chicken and chicken fried steak are both delicious.
That's all I got. Yep.
Yeah, I can't say like it's overwhelming, but any diner's amazing.
So if anybody listens to this, would you tell them this is how you're so shredded because you have this kind of food in your diet?
you gotta speak louder.
Is that why you're so shredded? Because you eat that kind of food
Is that why I'm so strong? You said?
And shredded.
and shredded?
Just jacked from eating all the shitty food.
Yeah. Yeah. Pancakes really shred you out.
I
No,
knew
it's
it. I knew it.
It's even off season, so it's like I either don't eat or I eat everything.
What is your pre-fight diet right now?
My pre-fight diet. So I got sponsored by this it's called My Fit Foods. So they make these like little like pre-packaged fit meals and whatnot. So I generally just like eat that. But probably the thing that I'm doing as of recently is just listening to my body. I think everyone or most athletes have this idea of like following a routine and or protocol. And I think people just need to start listening more. So if I'm hungry, I eat. If I don't, or if I'm not hungry, I won't eat. It's like I'm not really part of a nutritional routine anymore.
Because you had a guy you're using for a while, the guy that was working with Connor and those guys. What was that dude's name?
George Lockhart.
George Lockhart. Because I remember that. He would make all your meals and shit all the way up to your, like, right before weigh-ins, right? And your first
Right,
post-weigh-in
right.
meal or something like that?
Yep. So like, yeah, I had him and then a couple of his assistants like preparing all my meals like in camp and then a fight week and stuff like that.
So how much weight do you gain back after you weigh in?
I usually walk into the cage about 180. So that's what, 25 pounds?
Damn.
Holy
See, and that's what everybody's so amazed by. Whenever I talk to anybody, especially when the California Athletic Commission tried to shut you down
I know
because of your
they forced-
your successful weight cuts. But
Wow.
give a rundown, like your weight cut, when you started, how far out, what you weigh it walking into fight week.
So like on average, so like typically I'll walk around at like 185, and then I'll sign a fight and start dieting and training. I'll get my body weight down. I try to get to as close to 175 as possible, but usually like the high 70s, like 177, 178 is typically what I'm at in shape. And then I'll arrive fight week at like 175 after like water loading, and I'll usually cut 20 pounds of water the week of.
That's ridiculous. That's insane.
But you've never missed weight that I ever remember.
Yep, never missed weight.
Do you?
I mean,
Can you get like
sometimes
IVs?
No. IVs are illegal in the UFC.
Okay.
Yeah, so you're not allowed to get IVs. So I just have to orally like slam water religiously for 24 hours.
Wow.
And then do you feel good getting into the cage after putting the weight back on? Or do you feel like
yeah.
you... Because I remember back in the day when you used to just fucking gorge until you throw up and then go fight.
No, I mean...
That's when he fought at a bar.
The learning curve. Yeah, we found out that, like, 3 boxes of cereal and all you can eat Hoo Hot was never a good idea before a fight.
God, I haven't been to Hoo Hot forever. It's so
I know.
good, though.
They have
Hoo
these little
Hot's-
coconut crunchy things you can put on all your meats. It's
That's
great.
how you know we're all fat on this side because we're just excited about Hoo Hot.
I
Yeah,
feel
as
like
soon
there's
as
a
you
lot of
say-
there's
Like
a lot of
fighting's
pressure.
cool, but
Hoo
like
Hot
Hoo
is
Hot was
definitely-
great.
The conversation definitely
I
changed.
feel like Hoo Hot's a lot of pressure to go eat at though, because like you got to make your own food pretty much. You got to put all the stuff together, and like it's on you whether or not it sucks dick because they're gonna cook it the same way.
Ooh, good point.
I
That's true.
have a recipe that I've had for 12 years now.
A recipe.
I just take my Asian friend with me, and he's like, get some of this and get some of that over there and
Yeah.
a little bit of that shit over there, and then you're good to go.
Like, can you leave a bad review at Hoo Hot? Because they could just be like, well, you fucking
Yeah,
made
your
it,
fault,
so-
man.
That's a
Yeah.
Yeah,
brilliant
I want
plan.
them to answer like how they fucking like the Burger King guy would get on and like talk shit to people. Be like, it's your recipe, fuckface.
The hibachi guy dropped sweat into my food. So
That happened, dude. Amber wouldn't go back for like a fucking year. I was like, did you see that guy just get
fine.
sweat in our food? And she was like, what? And I was like,
Just
I'm
a
sure
little-
it's fine.
A little extra salt.
Yeah.
All right. Not a big deal.
So, hey, Drew, when you gain your weight back, do you feel slow, or do you feel like you're just ready to kick ass because you filled back out and you feel full and you're not hungry?
Yeah, well, now since I found like the how much is enough and like versus too much, now I feel fantastic. Like, you get some calories, some carbohydrates, sodium back in my body, and then you just let that settle for 24 hours. Yeah, the next day, come fight day, I feel super athletic.
I'm kind of. I want to ask a question because I'm curious here. Like, if a power lifter, for example, is new to powerlifting, and you might not want to say you should cut weight to do your first powerlifting meet, just so you're comfortable going in. What would you tell somebody doing their first fight?
Oh, for the first fight, I think you just gotta. I'm a hard barometer because I found that I'm halfway decent at weight cutting. It's kind of like my little superpower. So I feel it's very unfortunate. So I think people just need to, determine what's best for their body type. I think in MMA, I think the average good amount would be 10 to 15 pounds fluctuation, depending on how much you weigh. But I personally think even in bodybuilding, it'd be beneficial because cutting weight and then like reloading it back on in an intelligent fashion, you feel like light, energetic, and like agile. And when I used to put like ton of weight back on, or even when I fought at 170, I didn't have to cut too much weight. Like, I was hauling around way too much weight, and whether you're trying to fight somebody or pick up tons of weight, the weight on your body also counts as something you're carrying around as well.
Yeah.
And so I think weight cut and an intelligent weight cut is beneficial for every athlete.
Our last episode we talked about pooping our pants.
Yeah.
What are your nerves like going to the cage? You ever been like halfway out on your walk-in and like, I gotta shit, I'm so nervous right now?
I mean, yeah, like every fighter gets like the pre-event shits, but luckily we all get it out in the locker room, which I gotta tell you that the pre-fight locker rooms are fucking disgusting.
So the real hero's the UFC cameraman that's back there the whole time just filming people warming up.
Which I assume the locker room bathrooms are not in a parking garage or the side of a highway. So that's good.
The real winner is the athletic commission, because you get tested on site, and like an athletic commission is watching you pee as the other like 4 stalls are just getting blown up by other fighters.
Dude, I did a meet one time and this guy had to pee and he kept trying and trying. He's like, well, the only way I'm gonna pee is if I take a shit. So that guy had to stand in there with him while he took a shit and peed in the cup.
Yeah, no, I'd be lying if I said that.
That
That's
guy's
never
just an
happened to me.
And then once you're in there and going, so is it like after you take the first shot or you land the first shot that your nerves calm down?
Usually it's when I enter that cage that like, it's usually the walkout that like the nerves kind of calm down. The locker room, it's just, you get all that feeling of like, oh shit, this is happening. Oh, like, we're doing this. But as soon as you as soon as I see the cage, the lights and the music, then I was like, oh man, I absolutely love doing this. And
cool.
So usually it's that walkout that the anxiety kind of leaves.
Do you feel like when you're inside the cage, you can't really hear anything? Or are you aware of all the people, shouting your name and all that stuff? Or are you just really focused on what you're doing?
Oh, I hear everything. It's like I make some dumb decisions as soon as that crowd, sounds restless. Like, if I'm pushing them against the fence, trying to win the chess match, and then I hear a boo in the audience, I'm like, shit, we gotta throw something.
No, I mean, yeah, whether you like it or not, you're an entertainer,
I mean, that's why we're in there. Like, we're not athletes. Like, we're
okay.
We are not we're not athletes on this end.
Yeah, I mean, like let's be honest. Like the pay scale. Like, if we were closer to like the NBA than the WWE, then like Charles Oliveira and Islam Makhachev would get paid the most. But that's not true. Conor McGregor is going to be cashing the checks every time. Like, God, what's that English fatty from Liverpool? Oh, Paddy. Yeah. Like, Paddy is like a draw, and he gets paid and all that stuff. Not because of his talent, it's because he just brings in the eyes. So it's like,
I've been telling you to talk shit for years.
Yeah. Oh, I know, right? But I'm not good at it. Like, anytime I try to talk shit, I sound like that 13-year-old
playing Call of Duty with his friends.
Words and doesn't know how to use it quite yet.
I think once you have like your family's growing, you're having a baby soon. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Once that happens, you're probably gonna have to put on a show to start paying some like bills or some shit. Who knows?
Was that a question? You got to repeat it.
I'm just saying you're gonna be busy entertaining when you have a larger family.
Oh yeah. I mean, I don't know. Again, I'm becoming a dad. I don't know if that's gonna help or deter my shit talking abilities. Like, I'm just gonna be like the.
Just think that they talk bad about your kids all the time. Just think that they're talking shit about your kids.
You can get in the ring and be like, "Get the fuck off my lawn." Like that doesn't make any sense.
Man, yeah, like if I fight Connor and he starts talking shit on the family, like, I don't think words are going to be said. I think we just throw hands immediately. Like, I'll punch him in the wins.
Do you want to fight Connor?
Of course. Oh, absolutely. I would love to fight Connor.
What does he weigh?
He can use all the steroids he wants.
He's a 55er.
Is he? Okay.
Well, not right now. He's like juiced to the hill right now.
Yeah, he's pretty jacked.
Yeah. What do you?
Do you ever get back down to 55? He's pretty big. I mean, his head probably weighs.
He's like
30
198 right now.
Would you fight him? Would you fight him at a catch weight at 75?
Fuck yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine having the confidence to be like, you know what? Yeah, fuck it. Let's fight. How are you comfortable getting punched in the face?
I mean, it's not comfortable all the time. But like in the cage though, like they have so much adrenaline going that it's like you're numb, and so I don't feel anything until the day after. Like, in the cage, like, we're going to war. It looks horrible, but I don't feel a damn thing. And then on Sunday, I'm just a huge bitch covered in ice.
Who gave you the hardest hit outside of that one time that Junior Hernandez knocked you out?
That was I didn't feel a goddamn thing there.
But who gave you the hardest hit, you think?
Tony Sims. Like, the fight right
That was in Colorado, right?
Wow.
It was. He knocked me down 3 times in the first round.
And he still lost.
The dude hit so hard.
I don't know how many fights ago it was, but I think it was last year sometime. I had it pulled up on the TV. Brett and I were texting each other, getting ready for the fight, whatever, because you weren't there, and you're always there, right? And
I've been to a few.
So I go to the kitchen to grab a beer and come back, and it's fucking done. It was like 15 seconds in. I'm like, are you serious? I missed the whole show. Who was that?
I think it was like Nazareth.
That's right.
The same pay-per-view as Connor and Cowboy.
Yeah, that's right.
I was at that one. So wasn't that? It was when you fought that one. Who's that kind of wiry little black kid you fought that like stepped in, tried to make a name for himself?
Oh, Terrence McKinney.
Was that it?
Yeah, because that was a pretty quick night. He hit you a few times, and he fucking dropped him.
I mean, I got a beer, and I turned around, and I was like, are you serious? Ding, ding, ding. That's it?
Yeah, well, it's your fault for grabbing a beer.
I know. Right. I should have been more of an athlete drinking water.
Like, have you seen me ever? Like, you don't keep your eyes.
And I was at the fucking fight when Connor and Cerrone fought.
Where was that? Vegas?
Yeah, we were in Vegas.
That's right.
Yeah, and then we
Yeah,
just
that was
eat,
a good one.
then we
Oh.
just eat like fat people afterwards.
Well,
yeah.
you
Oh, yeah.
now you're like a proximity UFC fighter off season at that point.
You know, so first story. The first time that Amber and I went out to watch Drew fight in Vegas was the Robbie Lawler Carlos Condit card. Then we were still at MGM, and we were supposed to go to Hash House. Drew won. We're supposed to go to Hash House.
Hash House. Let's go.
Drew calls me. He has to go to the hospital because his like fucking head's throbbing or something. He rolls up to our room the next morning, just like crawls in bed with Amber, and I just lays there. And I bought Amber some chocolate covered strawberries at the store. He just like eats the strawberries. We're just fucking hanging out. We watch us fight again, and then just went and ate.
That's great.
Yep. Yeah, it's like when you tell people are like, "Yeah, I'm friends with a UFC fighter," like what they think versus what actually happens. Oh, did you go out and party? Like, no, he just came to my hotel room and ate chocolate covered strawberries in my bed.
Yeah. We watched his fight, and then we watched some 9-ball billiards tournament for like 10 minutes, and then we fucking went and ate.
Yeah, but hold on, those chocolate covered like bacon that you had.
Oh, that shit was so
money.
good, dude.
Did you order that to the
That was
room?
money.
Oh, that
No,
was
there's
so
like
good.
a fucking like a Hershey's store, and you went there and they had chocolate covered all kinds of shit there.
Hold on a minute. There was chocolate covered bacon.
Yeah,
Where
Well,
was this at?
at the Hershey store in Vegas.
The
Well,
fir-
it was in my room until Drew ate it, and then it was no longer in my room.
How much was it? And can we order it online?
Right now.
Grubhub now.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. This is like
Hey,
fat kid stuff here.
Drew, how fat have you been since you've been a UFC fighter on accident?
On accident?
Yeah.
Yeah, I went to an all-inclusive Cancun trip, and like I went hard. Like we were putting in that work, and I came back at 200 pounds.
Oh, I love it.
No shit.
200 pounds is fat for UFC, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, I mean, hold on. You gotta consider what kind of frame I'm working with. Like,
You know what,
I'm a
though? I bet
5'8"
you
white
look
boy.
jacked.
200 pounds.
You probably are huge. Like you probably looked just jacked.
Just
I
all,
looked swollen.
just
I
all
looked swollen.
calves. Just all calves.
Just calves and tight pants.
Exactly. Well, I mean, I think I turn every pant into tight pants, which is like
You do have
the
big
problem
legs.
that Brett gave me. Like I was just calves, like as a teenager, and then I found barbell, and then of course he created quads, and now I can't wear pants.
I have a video of Drew doing the slowest deadlift in history, but he still got it. And
I
he did
never
the
seen
stanky
it.
leg.
Oh, nice.
And it was like four and change, 425.
Like knees coming
435.
in and all the whole bit.
It was 435.
435, and he worked hard.
Damn. I was curious when I was driving in today before we called you, and I was wondering if you've ever been in a position where you've used your fighting ability to resolve an altercation for yourself or somebody else, just as a civilian walking in the street. Have you done that?
Like, are you saying that have I ever been in a street fight?
Basically, as a professional fighter. Yeah.
Man, like to be honest, like being renowned and then having these ears really saved me from getting into street fights. However, for story's sake, I did get in an altercation. I think it was last year at a bar.
That's recent.
Yeah, me and my wife were just kind of like hanging out, dancing and stuff like that. And these three dudes just walked up to my wife and just like wouldn't leave her alone. And like she's an adult, she can take care of it herself. And so I was just kind of letting her, do it. And man, these guys just were pressing the issue and being annoying. So I decided, out of courtesy, I'd like lean over and give my wife a kiss to kind of give them the idea.
Yep.
And I don't know what triggered this, but after I gave her a kiss, one of the dudes grabbed my wife to the back of her head and
Whoa.
pulled her in for a kiss.
Whoa.
And yeah, I don't know. Like, you can talk shit to me, you can swing at me,
Wow.
I don't care. But as I saw hands on the back of my wife's head, I Cody Garbranded his face. Like, I grabbed him by his mouth and shoved his head into a wall, and yeah, just lost my shit. But luckily, the bouncer knew who I was. So
Damn,
he
that
stopped
guy
that
is
for
an
a-
idiot.
I have a story of when Drew could have gotten an altercation. When we went to the Rousey fight? When Neil
Oh, yeah.
Neil fought? And this fucking lady's being like a total bitch to him.
So let me tell this story. This is great. So yeah, we were sitting in it's like a T-Mobile arena or one of the arenas and stuff like that. So I go up to the concession stand to get something to drink really quick before my buddy Neil Magny fights. I get super nervous before my friends fight, like more nervous than when I'm fighting. So I grab a drink, and then a couple people recognized me, so I took a couple pictures, and then I go down, find my seat, and Neil's about to fight, about to walk out, and this older woman just keeps walking right in front of my seats, and the bleacher seats where you have to move your legs or at least stand up.
Yeah.
Every time somebody walks in front of you, and this chick's making the fifth, time through. And finally I was like, hey, you need to find your seat. I'm trying to walk to the fights. And then she turns to me and she goes you need to shut your fucking mouth. I'll do whatever I want. You and your stupid ass UFC shirt needs to shut up and blah, blah, blah. And just run in her mouth, right? And I'm losing my shit because Neil Magny is about to fight, and so I'm just get out of my face. And I was plotting Neil right in her face, trying to ignore her and get her away from me. And she kept just yo, you trying to be a hard ass? My boyfriend or husband's over there. He'll beat your ass.
No way.
Cool stuff. She's like, I'm gonna grab my husband. So she runs over to her seat. And then I looked over and she rucks up to this guy and then talks to him and then points at me and he's got a scowl and then turns over and looked, and no joke, we just got done taking a picture together by the looks at her and grabs her and throws her in her seat.
That was so great.
That's amazing.
You and your UFC shirt like you're some kind of fighter.
Hey, Drew, have you ever worn an Affliction T-shirt?
I was just gonna ask that.
Dude, I was wearing Affliction T-shirts religiously when I was a teenager.
Fuck yeah.
That's a lie. He couldn't afford them.
Is that still a thing? Affliction?
I don't know. I don't know. But in that twatty lady's defense, I mean, this was a few years back.
Man, that's
Drew was
funny.
just coming up, making his name,
That's funny.
and she was a thunder twat. Man,
Oh,
that's when fucking Neil fought Big Rig Johnny Hendricks,
Yep.
That's so great.
and they
I don't
booed Neil the entire time because Neil just stayed on the ground and worked him the whole time, and people kept getting so pissed.
Oh, that's great.
I got another fight altercation story. This one
I
is,
knew it.
man, horrible decisions by this people. So I went to a local event watching a couple of my teammates fight. And so I'm sitting at a table. It was me, Justin Gaethje, Archie Colgan, which is a Bellator guy, Grant Neal. We got some pretty solid fighters at this table, right? And there was the table in front of me. This dude was just standing up the entire time. Literally right in front of me. And so I walk up to him, I was like, hey man, can you do me a favor? Would you be able to sit down so I can watch the fights? And he was like, nah, I'm good. I'm like, no, I need you to sit down. There's people behind you. And so he's like, well, you should have bought better tickets.
Damn.
Mine were free.
I was like, I know. I was like, I really hope that you would find kindness and and sit down. And he's like, you need to get out of my face, and gets in my face. And all of a sudden, me, Justin Gaethje, Archie Colgan, Grant Neal's in his face. You just need to sit. Probably one of the worst decisions this dude has ever made. He was getting tagged by top 10 fighters in the world.
I mean, Drew, aren't you 6'3", 6'4", something like that?
Shit.
Am I? No, I'm all 5'8".
Did Gaethje just Did Gaethje just punch him, or did he actually wait it out? I feel like
we
Gaethje
all
enjoys
waited it out.
violence.
You
yeah,
all
we
enjoy
definitely-
violence.
I was impressed how quickly Gaethje stood up. He has my back. But long story short, they ended up buying us drinks by the end of the night. So
Did they get a picture with you?
probably.
Dummies.
That's insane.
Yeah.
So, this whole big merger with the UFC and the WWE, what do you think? You think it's going to change the direction?
No.
Now, I do feel like a little bit. UFC's got to be a little bit of sports entertainment. You've seen it. If you guys are on the ground, nothing's happening, people are booing, they'll stand people up. Right? You're still trying to sell a little bit of an entertainment factor. You agree?
Yeah. I don't think it's going to change because, I'm a firm believer we are entertainers.
Sure.
And so, the merger just makes sense. It's all right, well, these guys get paid to do steroids and fake fights, and then we get paid to,
Whoa.
fight.
Wait a
Hey,
second.
they have
Wait.
health checkups.
What if-
Okay, they have a monitoring system.
What can I do anything to see you bounce off a turnbuckle and clothesline somebody? Can I do that? Can I be an investor?
Would you go? Would you ever go WWE? Say you're kind
question.
of getting to the end of your
Yeah.
UFC career. Would you ever go WWE?
Hell yeah.
Oh, me too.
Paid
I'd do it
more
now.
money to not actually get punched in the face? Definitely.
Oh, those guys get beat up though.
Some of those guys are.
Oh,
They
rough.
get really beat up.
Oh, it is rough.
Yeah.
Oh, and speaking of, man, I on a flight or a travel to like Las Vegas, my last time, I was sitting on like this train station, going from the plane to like the baggage claim, and I had like this big, bold, bearded guy looked just like Goldberg, and I was like, man, he looks just like Goldberg. And then he comes up to me and he goes, "Hey man, I'm such a huge fan." I'm like, "It was Bill Goldberg."
No
Holy
way,
shit.
really?
Shit. Yeah, I got Bill Goldberg walking up to me in Las Vegas airport saying how much of a fan he is.
Did
of
you
mine.
spear him in the
Like,
middle of the tram?
Dude, I would have broken my neck.
Well, hey, was his neck
He's
still
18 years
big?
old, looking good.
That dude's super jacked to the hill still. He's
yeah, was
super
his
jacked.
yeah, is he still good? I mean, his neck was huge.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he's definitely not like as big as he was, in his prime.
How old
but
is
I mean,
he?
he's looking good. Like steroids did him well in the later ages.
I'm gonna
Goldberg,
look
he's
up how
gotta-
old he
He's got to
was.
be in his
Hold
mid to late 50s, I
on.
bet.
I'm looking it up right now.
I bet he's in his 60s.
He's 58.
58.
Okay, fucking 60. That's 60.
That's pretty awesome. Who's the coolest person that's ever fanboyed you outside of Goldberg?
Mike Meyer.
You want to hear another good Drew story? We're at the fucking fights one time in Vegas. Or no, that wasn't in Vegas. When Tom Brady walked by you and you didn't know who he was.
Oh yeah.
Was he watching the fights?
I don't follow football. Like,
That was
I
the
don't-
that was
it's
the
just not my
McGregor
thing.
fight. It was the McGregor
Okay.
fight
Yeah.
because Hollis was back there with you, and she was like, Tom Brady walked by. Drew didn't know who it was,
Oh no, I shook his hand.
and he shook his hand.
I
Even
shook his
better.
hand. Yeah, like we shook each other's hand, and like I walked by, and then my wife was like, "Do you know who that was?" I'm like, "I have no idea." You're like, "That's Tom Brady," and I'm like, "Who's that?"
That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, who do you think who's your the coolest person to fanboy you
Coolest person that fanboy me, man. Like
outside of like Ed Cohen?
That's a good question.
I bet Brett Carter. I don't know if you know him.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's just like a lot of fighters, like fighters that knew who I am. That I was like, no, I was surprised. Amanda Nunes is a huge fan of mine, which was outrageous.
yeah, because she's into
Charles
girls, so
Woodley.
that is weird.
Yeah, I know, right? Well, I'm also I have a very like feminine look. Like it's an easy transition for her, I feel.
Yeah, same pants probably.
We have your picture in the office here, and we all looked at it at the same time. Like, there's nothing feminine about being jacked and a fighter. I'm not sure what's going on here.
And until you get to know me, and then you're like, oh wait.
Oh, the
Cage fighting's
pants.
only thing
They
that
all
makes
wear the
it
same
The
better.
pants,
Pants,
yeah. Okay,
well,
the pants.
Amanda Nunes might look a little more mannish than him.
Yeah.
Hmm.
She's
Like
got,
if we dated, she'd be the butch.
yeah, for sure. Well, that's how her relationship is now.
I know.
And that's how your relationship is now, which is weird.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm saying like fighting in a cage is the only thing that makes me masculine. Other than that, it's like
Yeah, that's
bubble bath,
ridiculous.
scented candles, like R&B music, and chill.
But that's the weirdest thing I've ever heard.
And then video games. What video game are you playing right now?
What do you? Hey, I've got a friend of mine that I grew up with, and you know him, but I won't share his name unless you ask. But what do you think about bare knuckle boxing? He's been doing that thing for a while now.
So at first, I thought it was ridiculous. And I was like, man, they got to get paid. Like you got to get paid.
They
to
don't get
potentially break
paid
your hand
very
in
well.
Every single fight. Like, it's outrageous. And then that changed quickly when they came out with that power slap nonsense. And I'm like, yeah, bare knuckle boxing is all right.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Power slap? Yeah.
Yeah.
That Russian shit.
Have you never seen power slap?
No, I've
Holy
seen
crap.
that the power slap like the Russian thing, but is that legal in bare knuckle?
I think the,
Does-
the UFC started that.
Oh no!
Power
The
slap.
UFC got
Yeah.
behind it, and then
Yeah.
they started their own promotion. They literally just finished a reality show where they did like the Ultimate Fighter concept, but
Okay.
with power slap. It was the most painfully entertaining thing I've ever seen.
Oh,
in my
that's
life.
great. Oh, I will shadow box you, but I'll never let you touch me. But if I have a free hit on you, I'll take it.
There you go. 1 minute. 1 minute in the cage.
One minute in the closet with Drew Dober, Mike
That
Meyer.
could go a lot of different ways.
It's fine. I'd be famous.
Pregnant.
Where do you see yourself going here in the next 5 years? Where do you see the sport at?
I think the sport will will gradually increase popularity. I mean, I think like every year it's just like incrementally getting bigger and bigger. And then with that, pay is increasing, and the way UFC is being ran is increasing. Um, I don't know if in my like in my career that I will see like a fighters union. But yeah, in 5 years, like UFC is gonna be surpassing a lot of sports, and I hope to be a champion by the time this is all over.
Who do you want to fight next after this guy?
Mike Meyer.
Michael Chandler.
Oh,
That's,
close.
you called out Chandler before, right?
Yeah, I'd love to fight Michael Chandler.
What's Michael Chandler think about that?
Yeah, he just wants the money. He's got that Conor McGregor fight coming up.
Yeah, but why would you want to fight him? Why do you want to fight him specifically?
Because I think it would just would create some beautiful violence in that cage. I think it's about time that I start fighting some names.
Well, for
I think
sure.
it's time for me to be a household name. Like if I put Conor McGregor on his ass, if I knock out Michael Chandler, like all these things, like it's gonna just propel me a ton. And that's kind of like what I'm ready for, is just to fight the names and create
who makes that
memories.
Drew, who makes that decision? Like when you get to pick, do you get to choose who you fight, or does somebody choose that for you because it's good for entertainment? Like how does that work in your business?
It's just kind of a opportunity. For you to fight up in the rankings, you just gotta have that opportunity, and you gotta have that buzz. You gotta have some hype behind you to have. I mean, we're looking at this is the welterweight division right now. We got Leon Edwards, who just beat Usman for the second time.
Yeah.
Talent wise, like Bilal Muhammad should get the title shot just based on his resume, but he's not going to because of Colby Covington. Colby Covington's going to get the next title fight because of the amount of hype he brings. And so, for me, like if I want the bigger opportunities, I just got to create this hype, and I'm not for the unauthentic shit talking. So I'm just going to do my thing and keep putting people to sleep.
How about this?
Big dick energy there.
Yeah, no doubt.
Take the paycheck out of it. No, just take the money out of it. Do you fight Chandler or McGregor? Who do you think is truly
Man,
the
you
better?
got to think about that, really?
Well, who do you think is truly the better fighter? Like the most skilled, that's going to give you. You know what I mean? That's what I'm asking. I'm kind of asking. Who do you think is the most skilled fighter?
I think Chandler is going to be more skilled, just based on he has multiple weapons. Like he can wrestle. He's got a lot of. He's super athletic and all the above. Conor, with him, is you just got to watch out for his left hand. Other than that, like you're good. Like he's not going to submit me. He's not going to try to take me down. He's not going to pull anything out of his ass and be creative. He's just you just got to worry about his left hand.
You know
and
what?
He gets tired in later rounds.
What's really interesting? I don't know UFC fighters and like their record and how they train and if they're wrestlers or not. I don't know any of that stuff. But when I see Conor McGregor and understand his story, he's very entertaining. And it's if you were to knock out an entertaining guy, that would probably put you in a different position than because I don't follow it like you don't follow football and you don't know who Tom Brady is. Like, I enjoy talking to you and stuff like that, but I don't know anything about UFC. So, I mean, why wouldn't you want to fight Conor McGregor instead and maybe
be the Dragon Slayer?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like for marketing or something.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the bigger the name, the bigger the fight, the bigger the memory. And so,
yeah, no doubt.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm just all for that. Like I would definitely fight Conor McGregor over the champion, right? It's to me, carrying that the championship gold is great, but it's not necessary. I mean, all you guys know who Donald Cerrone is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Of course, never won a title.
Yeah, never won a title. Nobody cares that he was never a champion
because he was a genuinely good dude. Cerrone was just a genuinely good dude, similar to how you are.
Exactly. So, in my career, in the 5 or whatever, how many years I have left in the sport, I'm chasing gold, but it's not necessary. I'm just trying to create memories every time I'm inside that cage.
That's awesome.
Right? And create stories and give us something to talk about. And at the end of the day, I'm just going to tell my grandchildren and they're going to be annoyed by it.
What's your favorite fight you've had so far? Like the one that you've been in that you look back on and you were like, "Fuck yeah, that was great."
I mean, they're all like little Rocky stories, like little like Rocky movies, you know? Dang. And so like I can't really choose a favorite, but like for aspects, so like the fight I had right before the UFC, man, that one of the hardest punchers I've ever had to fight. Dude, he nearly killed me in that first round, and then I came back and won the second and third round, and beat the champion by decision. So like that was a beautiful story. And then my last fight, like I fought an extremely elusive and creative Bobby Green who wouldn't shut up in the cage, and just being able to knock him out was such an incredible feat. So, man, there's so many fights that are like great in their own way, and I can't pick a favorite.
Fair enough.
The fight that you have coming up next, the guy that you're fighting, what's he good at, and what have you been doing to prepare for what his specialty is?
Yeah, he's a gamer. In my opinion, he's a jack of all trades, master of none. But what he does bring uniquely into the cage is just he's tough as nails. Like, just watching his fights, like he's not afraid to engage. He's not afraid to get hit, and like he will hit you like super hard. So he's just like just chaos. He's going to come in there and he can put that pace, bring that chaos for the full 15 minutes. And you think you're going to be able to put him away, and I've seen people just struggle and fail. So he's going to bring in that chaos, and so I'm going to be the more polished fighter.
So you've been doing a lot more cardio to try to keep the pace up, or is that not something you're worried about?
I don't think he's ever been out cardio, Drew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Drew, do you ever, I don't want to interrupt your answer, but maybe just think of something while you talk through it. But when you train with Brett, or when you train at a gym with a trainer or by yourself, and you're doing strength things, powerlifting, whatever those movements might look like, do you ever wonder what your limits are for a sport like powerlifting? I'm just curious. Like, if you ever think that if you change gears just for fun for like off season to do a powerlifting meet, would you ever do that? And is it not even interesting to you?
It's definitely interesting to me. Just competition alone is just a lot of fun. I love individual sports, powerlifting, like the Olympics, like individual sports are fantastic. I'm not much of a team player.
Cool.
I don't think I could do it now. My work with Brett Carter at Omaha Barbell, we pretty much capped out on how much size and mass and strength I could put on at 155. So since moving out to Colorado, we've just been maintaining my strength and then improving other aspects of like agility, like speed, coordination, accuracy, and all that stuff. But at 155, I still feel like I'm the strongest lightweight in the division because of powerlifting.
That's awesome.
So back to the previous questions before Mike rudely interrupted.
Sorry, it was supposed to be in tandem.
Is your plan to outwork this guy then? Since like Brett said, you've never been out cardioed before, or do you have a different way of going about it, or can you not tell us about that type of stuff?
Yeah, so he wants that firefight. He wants to bring that chaos. He wants it. So like if I commit to trying to outwork him and all that stuff, I'm kind of just playing into his game. So I'm just gonna allow him to play his cards. Like he's gonna show me how he wants to fight me, and then I just pretty much change that up. Like if he wants to come at me extremely hard with some striking, I'm gonna let him walk into a trap. But if he wants to play that more like strategical, bounce around, find the opportunities, I'm going to be more polished there as well. So for this fight, it's not so much being the better athlete, it's being the more refined fighter.
Where is your next fight?
My next fight is in Newark, New Jersey, the butthole of the city.
Yeah, gross. Jersey's gross.
Do you guys want to go? I'll go.
People from Jersey don't want to be in Jersey.
No.
Hey, Drew, I'll go.
When is it?
I'll go.
Next fight?
May 6th.
Well, you going to go right after my Traeger shows up?
Yeah.
So, you were talking about your nerves during your walkout, and I meant to ask you, when they've been doing the Apex, is it harder to get fired up in the Apex when no one's there versus T-Mobile or MGM or Madison Square Garden?
Yes. Man, it's hard because I draw a lot of energy from the crowd. I absolutely love what I do. And so like that walkout, being in front of the audience, all that stuff, like it's that's the moment where like it comes to fruition. Like I love it. So fighting the Apex was an interesting scenario because there was like 2 people in there.
Yeah,
and
it's
so
fucking
I had
lame
to
sauce.
I had to like simulate it. So like my last fight with Bobby Green in the Apex, like I had to like focus on trying to draw the energy from the crowd because there was only like 100 or 200 people in there. So like, man, it was a lot of work trying to like emulate the same feelings. And so that's why I'm stoked, have this bout, being in front of a live audience again.
And why are they still using the Apex? Like I feel like COVID's over. And it's Vegas, there's all kinds of diseases in Vegas, so I don't know why they care about fucking not being. I'm assuming it's a money thing, but then they also don't get the money from the door either, so I don't know how that works.
Yeah, I think it's a money thing. They're slowly doing a transition. The last card with Corey Sandhagen on it, it was originally scheduled for the Apex, and they moved it to San Antonio, Texas, in front of an audience. So I think they're just doing a slow transition of bringing kind of like the audience back, but they also have the Apex just in case.
Yeah, a little back in. If they need to reschedule a John Jones fight because he can't pass a drug test, kind of a thing.
Yeah,
Just don't test.
I don't know if they want to throw John Jones in an Apex though.
Yeah,
I think they're using the Apex for the wrestlers. It's like, if you really are into this kind of stuff.
Hey Drew, if you went to the WWE, what would be your personality?
Would you be a heel or would you be the good guy?
Oh, he'd be a good guy.
Good guy for sure.
But like, what
Good
would be
guy.
your character if you had to get like Mick Foley or the Undertaker? Like, who would you be?
I already got it, dude. He's like the Miz because Drew will come out in
just
his
gonna say
fucking
Miz,
tight ass
yeah.
jeans and no shirt, and or he'd have an unbuttoned shirt and like sunglasses on, and then talk shit to
Fair.
somebody.
Giga Chad.
But he wouldn't talk shit. He would just sit there and wait. Like, you guys gonna come party or what?
Yeah, I'm the Giga Chad. Like I'm like the varsity quarterback. White boy, blonde Finland. Like
The Letterman. There you
like
go.
that's, yeah.
Or would you,
Definitely the.
or would you just rather be someone's manager?
I would.
Yeah.
I would do that.
Like
No, right now.
like Jimmy Sa or Jimmy
Yeah,
Hart.
Drew, if you want to make real money, go be a manager someday.
South Jimmy Hart.
No,
So-
I'm definitely be actively competing.
That would be excellent. You should really put that vibe out there when you're getting close to
Right.
making your dent in
Seriously.
the UFC.
You know what? If you want, like, you know how like every tag team champion has like a goober that's like their partner. I will do that for you.
Yeah, I'll sacrifice.
I
for you.
will. I will just get clotheslined by someone famous and be like, "That's my boy. He's about to knock your ass out." And we can put something together. We could be like Dumb and Dumber,
But maybe not use that name.
but like gorgeous and ugly.
Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah, there you go. That's the one.
You're obviously
There we go.
Mike. You're obviously the beast.
Yeah, duh. So I
You're a
actually
little more like Mrs. Potts.
I went to I was on this was a few years ago. I was showing my sister-in-law. I was talking about you for whatever reason, probably because you're
'Cause he
rich
talks about you all
or
the time.
because you're famous. But I was like, "Hey, there's this guy, right? He's very handsome." And I found a picture on your Instagram. Your like eyelid is folded down over your eye, right? And then the next day you're like getting sun having a cocktail somewhere. And I'm like, "Look how beautiful he is. He can't even get fucked up if he's fucked up." Like I couldn't remember what that was, but it was years ago. I remember seeing this. I was like, "Dude, the guy had stitches and he's like on like the beach next day." It's ridiculous.
Yeah, because I was ugly as shit as a child, and so getting punched in the face, they really helped that. I think like the bruising was like my own Botox.
Really,
Some swelling here and there.
really tighten those ears up. Guy can't even put a fucking AirPod in his ear. So I've known.
Shout out to Junior Hernandez for fixing this face.
Yeah, the only time I've seen Drew go down in a fight. That was it though, and then he had that bullshit no contest. But otherwise, I've never seen him get knocked out. That was it.
Yeah. Well, that was that was because it was a shit weight cut.
Well, it can't
Like,
be any
I
shittier
did-
than the time I was with you in Colorado and you cut to 145, and we're like the worst person in the world to be around.
Yeah. Oh, I know. That was god
He was the
awful.
worst person
But,
to be around,
Dude, he cut to 145.
and he was just angry as fuck.
We were in the airport, and he's
I
just like
went for-
laying on the floor, and I was like, "You alright?" He's like, "Just wouldn't even talk."
Oh man,
Yeah.
nice.
I was silent for like 48 hours. Like, no, I was a huge dick. I went from 180 to 145 in a month.
Wasn't that the same
And,
time that your friend stole your truck and then started it on fire or wrecked it while we were gone?
What are you talking about?
Oh yeah, the morning of my fight, he stole my truck and totaled it.
Jesus.
And they like call him. We're like on the way, and like Drew's just like, okay, well, and he still fought one.
Damn. You could buy a new truck. Who cares?
The life of a fighter.
Drew-
I mean, we didn't get into fighting because like we got good grades in school. We hung out with shitty people. We
Well-
are shitty people.
Well, dude, that's kind of my next thing. You know, like a lot of people have probably seen Connor's documentary Notorious
Yeah.
on Netflix, and if you haven't, it's pretty fucking.
His whiskey is good, by the way.
Yeah.
Quit lying.
But I think if anybody really knew Drew and watched him come up, Drew's life was fucking way crazier than Connor's.
Yeah, no,
How
I just didn't
so?
have a cameraman following around.
I think it wasn't it right before your first local pro fight? You guys got evicted from your apartment,
Oh wow.
and you had to break
I
in and
was
get
living.
and get your fight gear out, and you were basically living in your fucking car.
Really?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I had like a box of like the packet oatmeal and a bag of like frozen chicken, and that's what I had in my car for like the 2 weeks leading up to my first pro fight.
Holy shit.
So like, yeah, so I would just like go into like I would say 7-Eleven, but like a quick trip, and just use his microwave and just microwave that chicken.
That's ridiculous, dude.
Dude, I a couple times I gave him a ride home after training. I was like, "Oh, where you live?" And he was like, "Oh, the apartment's up by Walmart." I go, "Aren't those like the HUD apartments?" Or I go, "Buy those HUD apartments?" He goes, "No, those are the ones I live in."
No kidding.
I mean, to see where you were in all these years I've known you and to where you've gone is pretty incredible.
And to still be knock somebody out and still be kind to make sure that they stand up and shake their hand and hug them and stuff is just awesome. It's great.
And to stay humble. I mean,
Yeah.
everybody says a similar thing, you know, every year you come back and hang out at the Ed Cohen meet. You know, that's what everybody says. And so, you know, and that's the same thing like everybody says about Ed. Not that he's like, I guess fame is all relevant, you know what I mean, to his sport and your sport and whatever.
Yep.
But, you know, I know plenty of other fighters. You and I know a couple of guys from Omaha that, you know, they kind of forgot where they came from.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah, I think for me, like, fighting was never like a way out. It was never like, you know, like this is something I'm doing to like, you know, get famous, get money, get rich, get, you know, bitches or anything. For me, it was like fighting was just something I absolutely just loved to do, right? And not like the emotional fighting you do at bars, but just like competing in martial arts, and it was just so much fun, right? And when I started this journey, like there was no money in it, you know? And so now, like we're here where we are, and I'm getting recognized. You know, we're getting, you know, good paychecks and stuff like that. It's always a surprise to me. Like it's like getting recognized at like a grocery store. I'm like, oh shit, how do you know who I am? You know, it's like
Oh, that's
it always
weird.
surprised me because it was never the goal. It was never the idea.
Drew, when's the first time that happened? When you got caught off guard when someone's like, "Hey, I know you." Where was that? You have to know.
I don't know the first time, but like one of the more entertaining times, when I was like a teenager, I went to like a house party, and like some girl was like sitting next to me and kind of flirting with me, stuff like that. And she's like, "So like, what do you do?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm a professional professional athlete." She goes, "Oh, wait, like what sport do you play?" I'm like, "Take a walk." So she guessed like, you know, eventually like, you know, MMA, mixed martial arts. I was like, "Yep, that's what I do." And she was like, "Oh yeah, I know a couple fighters." I'm like, "Oh yeah, who do you know?" She was like, "I know Drew Dober." I'm like, "Oh, shit." So like, it was like in the beginning, I feel like people just said my name,
Yep.
but they had no idea who I was.
I was with you that time. Amber and I were with you at Cilantro's when you were going to the bathroom and like you moved out of the way for somebody like, "Oh my God, you're Drew Dober," and you're like, "Okay."
Yeah, I did not know how to respond to people like saying my name, like "You're Drew Dober," and I'm like, "Yes, in fact." You know, like, yep. Last I checked.
I
You know,
am
like,
Drew
you know,
Dober.
so I'm better at the small talk.
That's cool.
You know, you sell it though. You sell it like you remember them, even if you don't. And I think that's what people
Yeah, I
appreciate.
know.
You
Yeah.
you always come in with a smile and a handshake, and at least make them feel like you remember them. Because I'm terrible at remembering people.
Me too.
Yeah.
Fucking terrible.
I call him Bud, and it was a strong ass
Right.
grab, like
Yeah.
to make him feel special.
Oh, hey, buddy.
It's the ass grab that really gets them going.
Yeah, I know. And just maintain eye contact.
Otherwise, it's weird.
I mean, if you did that to me, I'd feel like I was obligated to perform. You know what I mean?
Like
First
sexually?
impression is
Yeah,
vital.
sexually.
You probably just finish right there, though.
I would, but I want to make sure he does because he's a pro fighter. You know?
Right.
Yeah.
He knows Drew Dober.
Yeah, I know who Drew Dober is.
No, Drew Dober knows Drew Dober is what he said.
Yeah.
Does he know who that is? I don't think you know how great you are at this sport when you have people like that are like hella famous, like Joe Rogan talking about you on their podcast.
I think it's just Joe just has a crush on me.
That's fine, though. He's a good dude to have a crush on.
doesn't?
Have you met him?
Well, in the ring, dummy. They interview all the
No,
time.
I mean, like, have you ever spent time with him?
No, I actually have not spent time with him. Like in passing, we'll have conversations, but man, I'm still waiting on his invite for a podcast.
You
Dude,
know
I'd be
what? You know
fucking
what I'm
stoked.
gonna do
I'll call
is
him.
I am in sales, Drew, and I'm gonna make this happen by sharing this to him somehow. And if it does happen, I just want a high five. But I'm gonna push this until it kills me.
I want you just to tell him that I have to come with you. I'm like you're Jamie for him. Like I'll just look stuff up.
As
for
long
you.
as I get to eventually fight with you in the WWE, I'll be ready.
I mean, I'm ready for all of this. Management, so
All right, dude. I appreciate you. I don't want to keep you forever. May 6th, New Jersey. You're the headliner on the prelims. What time the prelims start? Do you know? Has that been announced yet?
God, I have no idea.
All right, good.
I-
You're a
I
wealth
have
of knowledge.
Weeks away.
Yep. Just May 6th at some time during that day. Tune in.
I assume ESPN, ESPN Plus,
The Ocho.
Yes.
ESPN 8, the Ocho. All right, dude. We appreciate you. We got all the respect in the world for you and your story that I think a lot of people need to know. Like I said, your story is way better than Connor's.
Yeah.
I've seen you come up through it and turn into something pretty awesome. So we're excited for you. Appreciate you doing this. But we'll let you go unless you guys got anything else.
Good to go.
All right, dude. It was good talking with you. Appreciate you.
Appreciate it, man.
Good talking to you. And so, when you're on your next couple episodes, keep me in mind. I'd love to do this again.
All right. We'll see you, dude.
All right, see you, boss.